Well, we are excited to have you for the 4th of July in Houston. What kind of show can we expect? What kind of thing do the people...
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, this will be my first time back on stage in a while. Yeah, I've been dabbling in other projects and whatnot, so this will be my first show in a long time. I'm looking forward to it.
Do you have to work out any kinks in between time?
Well, we'll just figure it out along the way, you know. We're looking forward to it. My band, my crew, everybody's excited to get back out on the road, and it'll be fun. What
4th of July memories do you have as a kid? Did you do something special with your family, with, you know, on the 4th?
Well, I mean, I think everyone, or most everyone, gets together, and, you know, as long as you're in good company and having fun and eating and celebrating and whatnot.
And it's an important holiday. Obviously, you're a big supporter of the U.S. troops.
Yes.
That means a lot to you.
Absolutely. I've been so blessed to work with the USO since, I guess, 2007. And I've been overseas. Generally, my husband and I will go overseas during the holidays and try to take home to servicemen and women around the world and their families. Some that are able to be, you know, on base with them. It is truly, truly a blessing. Definitely the most incredible thing that I've been a part of since the whole Idol journey, I guess you could say.
And that was something else. What was it like being on the Idol thing, and then Dancing with the Stars? I want to ask you about. But first of all, American Idol.
It's so wild because, you know, we were talking off camera earlier about, you know, time flies. I can't believe it's been, you know, gosh, has it been 13 years now? Yeah.
Yes.
Time doesn't slow down for anybody. You know, I was 19 and green. I had never been anywhere. I'd never been on an airplane. You know, I'm a small town girl from little town in North Carolina, and you know, just had dreams of chasing a song to Nashville and being a part of the country music family. And Idol was that road that led me here, and I'm so blessed. And it's fun to watch the show now. I get nervous every time because I don't like to see people not do well.
Right.
I want everybody to go in and like nail their audition. I remember the nerves. I remember, you know, walking in going, oh, okay, what do I have to lose? Nothing. You know, but it's still scary. It's a vulnerable place to be in, and you're kind of putting yourself out there into the world, and it's scary but exciting. And again, I was so young, but so very blessed to be a part of the show, and I can't complain. I
love Dancing with the Stars. Now, people talk about that show, people like you who are on it, as a life-changing experience, and then why? What is it about that?
You know, I can speak for myself when I say that, you know, where I grew up in Carolina, there wasn't a lot of ballroom dancing going on. So I had never experienced that world. I didn't know that I would have this passion for it like I do. I really, really loved being a part of the show. And Derek Huff, who is my partner, he was such a pleasure to work with and became a brother. And he was so patient and such a great coach and mentor, and helped me discover a passion that I didn't know I had, and that's a love for ballroom dancing. And, you know, who'd have thought I'd be doing the cha-cha, you know, all these Latin beautiful dances, and telling a story through the form of a dance. I was so used to telling a story through the form of a song, because that's what country music's about. It's about life. It's just telling the truth. And that's the same with dance. You just tell the truth with your body. You know, you just move.
And you got a mirror ball trophy.
I did. And it's never once been inside of my home. It actually, as soon as Derek and I, after we won the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville, had reached out and asked if they could put the mirror ball trophy on display. And I said, absolutely, I would love to be at the Country Music Hall of Fame. I'd love to be in that company. So the ball went straight from Hollywood to Nashville, and it's been in the Country Music Hall of Fame ever since.
Cool.
So.
Cool. Well, let me ask you, there's a story behind every song. So if I can just throw out some of your songs, tell me what the genesis of it was, or what created it, or what was behind it. So first of all, your big hit, Red High Heels.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, when I was working on my first album, which has been a while, I was really discovering the songwriter in myself as well. And so fortunate, so blessed to be introduced to amazing songwriters here, you know, in Nashville. Chris Lindsay, Amy Mayo, they really, Karen Rochelle, just so many incredible songwriters that helped me find the songwriter in me. Chris and Amy, who are married, husband and wife, they would fly out after Idol. First of all, we wrote songs over the telephone before we met. So I was in the middle of the Idol tour. I'm trying to go back in time. Yeah. We were in the middle of the American Idol tour, and Chris and Amy and I were trying to get to know each other over the phone and write. And I would go into the studio and record after our Idol shows. Wow. I was like, I want to get this record done. We have these songs, and I hope people like them. And you know, let's do this. Launched you. And so we wrote, actually, Chris and Amy and Karen Rochelle and I wrote that song over the phone. Chris and Amy flew out to see me on tour, and we met for the first time. You know, and keep in mind, we had written I Wonder over the telephone. Like, we just hit it off, you know, right off the bat. Chris is from Ohio, Amy's from Alabama, and it just, I mean, they are just amazing people. But we were writing these intimate songs over the phone. Red High Heels came about when they came out on the road, and we met for the first time. And I remember being on Idol, and they gave me these red high heels to wear for a show, and I just loved those little sassy shoes, and they made me feel good. I don't know, just stood a little taller. And I was going through, I had went through a pretty bad breakup, and I thought, well, let's just write a song about it. But it's written, I think, in a universal way.
It is.
Anybody can apply whoever they want in the song. But it was a good first single.
Boy,
a good way to kick out, I guess.
What's the story behind Things That Never Crossed a Man's Mind?
No, I did not write that song.
But why did you decide to record it?
So I thought the song was fun, and it just kind of, I think at the time when it was pitched to me, which was, God, again, so many years ago, the record company was very, very excited about it, and it was actually two men that wrote the song.
Okay.
So interesting that no female had a right in that song, Things That Never Crossed a Man's Mind. It was written by men, and I thought that was funny too, and we've all laughed about it, and people love to sing along with it on the road.
It's a good sing-along song. All right, how about Don't You Know You're Beautiful?
Oh, I love that song, and I did not write that one either. Chris and Amy actually wrote that, and I believe Karen Rochelle wrote that one as well. That's a song that I feel everyone should hear, because it is so important to know how beautiful you are, be it man or woman. And it's not talking about this, it's talking about this. And, you know, knowing your self-worth. It really goes through different generations in the song, you know, starting with little girls, children, and, you know, then those young adults, and then the grown adults. It goes through all the generations, and has a sweet message that I think we all need to be reminded of here and there. Yeah. So it's not a superficial song. It's about the heart. It's about knowing your self-worth, knowing that you're beautiful.
Story behind Best Days of Your Life?
Oh, okay, another one written a long time. Taylor Swift and I actually wrote the song on the Brad Paisley tour. We were both opening for Brad. This was 2007. Wow. And when we first met, you and I first met, so we were, 2007, we were in the middle of the Idol tour, and again, got my heart broken, and I was on her bus after a show one night, and venting, and we were just talking about it, and you know, she did what she does best. She grabbed her guitar and she goes, "We're going to write about it." So we ended up putting that in the form of a song, and there you have Best Days of Your Life.
That's, well, okay, I'll give you one more. How about Someone Somewhere Tonight?
Oh, I love this song. My husband actually played this song for me. Walt Wilkins, who's a Texas boy, was a writer on this song and recorded it, and I mean, no one can touch his version. I know Kenny Rogers recorded it, and I had the honor, I mean, I was so blessed when he called and said, you know, will Pickler come perform this with me at the Ryman? And I went, are you kidding me? I was so excited. That was a highlight. But Mr. Walt Wilkins, that was the first artist that I heard perform that song. And it's such a beautiful song with such a powerful message. And I think that most any human can relate to this song, can identify with it. It is one of my favorite songs that I've ever recorded. And I remember being so excited that the songwriters were happy for me to record it, because that's always important to me. I'm married to a songwriter as well, and you always want to make them proud and tell their story the way it should be told. You know, so I love to write myself, but I always respect the other writers that I co-write with, or that, you know, writers that may pitch me songs and they're sharing their story with me and allowing me to be the storyteller. So you always want to honor them. You did a reality show with your husband? Yes. What was that like? Oh gosh, that was one of the craziest things I've ever done, because for both of us, because you're allowing cameras into your home. Oh, so luckily the production companies that we worked with, everyone was so lovely and so respectful. I think it's important to set boundaries from the get-go in anything. Right. In work, in your personal life, professional life, friends, relatives, neighbors, spouses, significant others. It's so important to set boundaries. So my husband and I sat down and we said, this is acceptable in our home and this is unacceptable in our home. And so what a wild ride, though. You know what I mean? And it was fun. Show. We did get to capture so many sweet moments that, you know, it was kind of like a video scrapbook of 3 years, you know, that instead of having photographs, we actually have footage. And made these beautiful memories with our friends, and obviously with my husband, we got to shine a light on things that we're passionate about. We tried to keep every episode light and fun and safe for, you know, everyone to watch. There's nothing that's going to go, ooh. But yeah, we got to shine a light, like I said, on things that we're passionate about, our USO work. We actually got to shoot overseas. Quite a bit of footage, which was really powerful to be able to educate people on what our service members are doing and what their families are going through back home, and work with St. Jude's and just things that we love to do when we're clocked out, you know, when we're not working, because that's not work to us. No. That's a joy to be part of. Well, talk about somebody who's done it all. You said you didn't know you had the dancer within you. Did you know you had the actress within you? I mean, singing on stage is a little acting sometimes, but... Yeah, I took drama, theater arts in high school. You know, it was a small town, again, like I said. Nothing on this level that I'm so fortunate to work with these amazing actors and actresses and writers and directors. I mean, this is, never in a million years did I think that it, you know, when I got in line for Idol at 19 and Green, that it would lead me like this here. But yeah, I do love the acting. I do have a bit of the acting bug. You do? It is fun. It's again, another way to tell a story, you know? Yeah, it is. Is it true that for you, the best way to get you to do something is to dare you? Pretty much. Why? I know, I'm so hard-headed. I don't know. Well, within moral reason, you know. But I really am pretty fearless as far as about anything goes, except spiders. I don't do spiders. If it's got more than 4 legs, I don't want anything to do with it. But yeah, not a big bug fan. But anything else, you give me a plane, I'll jump. I love it. I wouldn't say, I don't know if I'm an adrenaline junkie, but I do love, because it's not like a fear of falling or anything. It's peaceful for me. I don't know, it is. There's something, and I know people probably think I'm crazy, but get in line. But there is this like peaceful feeling that comes over you when you are jumping out of an airplane or paragliding, when you run off of a mountain. I don't know. I just feel like life's so short, and you know, when you have the opportunity to jump, calculated risk, not stupid risk, but a calculated risk. If you have the opportunity to jump, your parachute's probably going to open. You know, you might have a rocky landing, but get up and jump again. You know, I mean, I would have missed out on so many opportunities and so many blessings had I been too afraid to jump, if that makes sense.
It does.
Calculated risk.
I got you.
Right.
I got you. Jennifer told me to ask you about the stars, tattoos.
I'm sorry?
The stars, the tattoos on your wrist.
I used to actually get stars for each USO tour that I would go on. And so I think if I'd have kept going, I'd probably look like the flag. So, but yeah, I don't know. I may continue adding on, and I don't know, or maybe I'll get something else. I don't know. I do love, I have to be careful though.
Well, you ended the Taylor Swift tour, right, with a couple of tattoos? Nose ring?
One. She didn't. She was very young on that tour. Okay. But yeah, Rachel Reiner, when they were, you know, in Gloriana, who was another opening act for Taylor, they and I were opening for her then. And Rachel turned 21 on that tour, and so we went and got tattoos, and we were in Austin, actually. We were in Austin, Texas. Yeah, I woke up with a tattoo and a nose ring. It's a true story.
Listen, let me ask you about something personal, because people go, Kellie Pickler got it made, you know, life is sweet, but you came up upon your friend, Summer, right, and diagnosed with breast cancer and had to help her get through that. There are those things in life you have to go through. I
mean, everybody has to go through this little roller coaster ride called life. I mean, we can't really get off of that ride. You know, it's going to have its ups, it's going to have its downs, it's going to twist around and, you know, sometimes sling you upside down and back around. And but you just buckle up and hang on tight, I guess, and every chance you get to go, woo, go like woo. But yeah, Summer is, she's definitely, her family, I met them before Idol, long before Idol. And shortly after my grandmother had passed away, my grandmother Faye was the woman that I called mom. She was had a big part in raising me. But she had passed away when I was 15. I met Summer and her family not long after. And Summer, they really just took me in. Her mother, Carolyn, is like a mom to me, and Summer became like a big sister. And when she was diagnosed with breast cancer, which so many men and women both battle, that was definitely a tough time for you know, the family, and you know, it was interesting to me after she was diagnosed, and I know she's okay with me sharing this because she herself shares this story. It really hit her. I flew home to take her to her doctor's appointment to meet with the anesthesiologist, and just kind of be there while they explain this is what's going to take place and prepping, you know, for the surgery. And the type of chemo that she was taking, her nurse actually went through that same, or experienced the same chemo that she had, that Summer was going to take. And she advised Summer to shave her head before her first round of chemo so that she's in more control of it. As soon as you start taking it, you're going to wake up with hair on your pillow, or you're going to get in the shower and you're going to watch it go down the drain. And, you know, Summer grew up in the pageant world, and, you know, she's a beautiful, beautiful woman on the inside and out. But she looked in the mirror, she said, let's go to the gift shop. I want to try some hats on. I knew in that first meeting with the nurse telling her about the hair thing, I knew that that was going to hit a nerve for her, as it does most people. But for the family and your loved ones, hair is the least of our worries. We just want you above ground.
Right.
And we went to a gift shop at the hospital, and she wanted to try on hats, and she puts hats on and tucks her hair back. She had long blonde hair. She tucks her hair back in her hat, and she just starts to, like, it hits her like, oh. And I'm like, it's fine. Everything's gonna be great. We're gonna rock these hats. You're beautiful. The hair does not define you. It does not make you more of a woman or less than a woman.
Right.
We go to dinner afterwards, go to the ladies' room, and she has another breakdown about the hair. And at this point, you know, I'm like the little sister. I'm going, okay, enough with the hair. I'm sick of hearing about the hair. We just want you well, you know. And I remember her saying, well, that's easy. It's just hair. It's going to grow back. That's easy for you to say because you're not going to lose yours. And I went, huh. Well, all right then. Yes, I am, because I'm going to shave my head with you. So no more talking about the hair. We're going to keep it positive, and we're going to go through this together. And we did.
And you did.
We ended up shaving our heads. I shaved mine first because she goes, you do yours first. I went, you bet. I'm like, do it. So we shaved our heads, and I remember after, you know, we had all these wigs and whatnot. I never wore any of them. I never put one of those wigs on my head. I had a show to do the very next day, and I remember sitting on the bus and looking at those wigs, and I went, doesn't that just kind of defeat the purpose? I'm not going to wear them. I'm going to rock this bald head.
You did.
So I just went out, and you know, it was such a powerful, I didn't realize that it would have such an impact on so many people. I remember little girls coming to my meet and greets, and their parents were so happy that for the first time they were comfortable not wearing their wigs. So they'd come in the meet and greet with their wigs on, and they would leave holding them. And I thought, that's what it's about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right, speaking of big wigs, you met your idol, Dolly Parton.
Yes.
What was that like?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's a funny story because the first time I thought I met Dolly, it wasn't the real Dolly. I was in the airport in Nashville. I was at the B&A airport, and I had just moved to town, just come to Nashville, and Dolly's a big reason why I fell in love with country music. I have always admired her songwriting, her ability to put life in the form of a song, and just a strong woman, a strong, independent woman that's just, she's incredibly wise. Yes. And a hard worker. I admire her work ethic. So I am going to the airport. I am I think just turned 20, just came off the Idol tour, just turned 20, and fresh to town, new to town, and in the bathroom, I look over at the sink next to me. I'm washing my hands, and I look over, and I'm like, holy heavens, it's Dolly. And I mean, this woman looked identical. She had the hair, she had the other assets, she had the bling, you know, she was rhinestoned up and little heels, and she was a tiny little petite thing, and even sounded like her. And I'm like, okay, I cannot do this, you know, in the ladies' room, and what's she doing here at the B&A airport, though? So I'm like, psst, are you Dolly? And she's like, no. And I went, are you sure? And she goes, yes. And I went, I mean, I'm not going to say nothing. I mean, look just like her. And I'm like trying to convince this woman that she's Dolly. And she goes, my name's Sandy, and I'm a Dolly impersonator. She was getting ready to fly back to Vegas for her show. Well, fast forward a couple months later, so I'm telling the head of Sony Records in Nashville, at the time was Joe Galante, he signed me. And he had signed Dolly way back in the day, and he knew I was a big fan, and I'd told him about meeting not the real Dolly, but she was so sweet. And he ended up setting up a meeting for me to meet the real Dolly. So when I finally met Dolly for the first time, I was like, now are you the real Dolly? And we laughed about that, but she was so kind, and so she's has this wonderful energy that you just are drawn to. But we joked about that. That was fun. And she knew. I told her the story. I said, I met this woman. The reason why I asked if you're the real Dolly, and I told her the story, and she goes, was it Sandy? She knew her. And I went, oh my gosh, yes, I got her card in my pocketbook. But that was a funny little thing. But yeah, Dolly's lovely.
Famous impersonator. When you get into this business, you know how to sing, you learn how to songwrite, whatever, but people don't teach the business aspect of it. I mean, you become your own CEO of a corporation with people working for you. How difficult is that to learn and to manage while you're doing everything else? You
know, you are the first person in my whole career to ask me that question, and I thank you for that because it's such a great question. So many people, you know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know, and you have to figure it out along the way. And you know, I went from a roller skating waitress at Sonic in Albemarle, North Carolina, 19 and green. The first time I'd ever flown was doing the Idol show. And where's the first place that I fly? Hollywood, you know, and I'm going, I was a fish out of water completely. But it just, you're kind of thrust in this business and you go, okay, now I need a manager and a lawyer and a business manager for money. An agent, and then you have your band and your crew and this all of these people that, you know, it's an army. There's an army of people behind you so that one person can be out there on that stage. There's so many people that work so hard, countless hours, that enable me to do what I do. I couldn't do it by myself. I'm pretty intuitive. I've had to learn, you know, like the rest of the world, learn by experience, and I haven't always made the decision that, you know, I end up being proud of. Sometimes I have a little bit too much grace for people and can be taken advantage of. So you have to know when to say no, know who you are. Integrity is the most important thing, in my opinion. It's who you are when nobody's watching. I've been blessed to surround myself with good people that have always had integrity. And, you know, we make it a point to make sure that my feet stay on solid ground. And I try to do the same in return for them because it's easy to get lost in this business, in the world in general. But I learned, you know, along the way, as far as managing money even, you know, I mean, I was new money coming into this. And, you know, I've had to be very mindful of not losing myself. But that would be very, very difficult for me to do because I'm pretty hard-headed in the sense of I stand my ground.
Good for you.
So.
Good for you. What's one thing people don't know about you that would surprise them?
I don't know if I would really surprise anybody.
Okay. You're pretty much an open book?
I mean, for the most part, I think you definitely have to keep parts of your book to yourself. You have to honor some of your private life because in sharing certain things, you also open the door for other people that could be affected by it. You know, it could hurt someone. So you want to protect people, and I'm pretty much a locked vault as far as people confide in me, and they're the only person that has a key. So I am definitely a soundboard for a lot of people to share anything and everything with, and they know that it won't leave me. But I share, I think in my music, I have definitely shared a lot of my story. But there's still a lot more to tell, and when it's time, and if it's ever appropriate, you know, it may not. I think we all have to keep some things sacred to ourselves, and it's okay to do that. I
look forward to the Kellie Pickler book someday. Okay, I just have one more question, and that is, like a favorite fan story, but do you still have those fans that you used to see out in the audience when you were like,
it is
Kellie Pickler,
wildest
nobody,
thing.
Now they're
like graduating high school, yeah. I'm going, it blows my mind when someone comes up to me and says, I cried when you were voted off, and like their dad's with them, and they're going, you have no idea. She was 9 years old, and it was the only day of school she ever missed was the next morning after you were voted off, and I let her skip school that day because she cried all night, and I thought, oh my God, it just broke my heart. But it is so wild to think that people have been so gracious with following and supporting my career and enabling me to do this, because I wouldn't be able to be a part of this concert and be on that stage with Jake Owen, had you know, all those people, if they're not there in the front, you know, if they're not in the crowd, if we don't have a crowd, then we don't have a show.
Right.
And so I'm very thankful that people have been so gracious and you know, invested their time, their money, their life into helping me do what I love and be a part of things that matter. So I'm very thankful, and it is wild to think, especially when we think about Idol, and I'm an antique Idol now, I suppose.
12 years out. Well, thank you. The only other thing is we're going to Sonic after this, so any recommendations?
Oh yeah, gosh, that menu changes quite a bit. It's larger now, too. I used to always eat those Wacky Pack grilled cheese, and I love the onion rings.
Oh, yes.
The onion rings are the best.
Yeah. Favorite?
And you got to get your cherry limeade.
I was going to say, okay, favorite flavor?
You got to get your cherry limeade.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Keep it old school. Keep it traditional. I have made countless cherry limeades, and I've dumped countless cherry limeades. Those Route 44 drinks on cars, because I roller skated.
But they don't do the roller skating anymore.
Oh, they don't? We did. We did.
But I've been to a number of Sonics. Is anybody?
Well, I think a lot of them are building the drive-thrus.
Yeah.
Which is kind of odd because you don't even have to get out of your car anyhow. You just pull up in the thing, somebody brings your food out. Whatever.
Yeah.
Just tip your car hops.
Remember those days of roll-down windows?
Oh,
Were
yeah.
you too young? Oh,
totally.
okay.
Oh, yeah. I remember. Absolutely.
Yeah. We tried to talk my dad into getting a car with electric windows. He was like, what's wrong with rolling them down? It's exercise.
Yeah, right.
That would be a new car.
Definitely. Definitely.
Before you get up, could you show me the tattoos? You just
here?
Yeah, we go.
But you've done more than 3 USO tours.
12.
12? Oh, I was going to say.
I think 12, yeah.
She said she'd end up looking like an American flag.
I know, that's right.
I know. I was like, then I could just wear a striped shirt. People will start saluting me. Put their hand over their heart. I'll just stand out there on the field when they start singing the anthem, and I'll be the flag. I'll just go like this. Like a waving flag.
Do you mind if I get a picture with you?
Not at all. Not at all.